Hello, this is for my World War II project. Here I have provided pictures of some of the things that my Mima provided for me. Mima's my grandmother, by the way, for those who don't know. She was able to give me tons of pictures and a timeline, so I would like to thank her a lot for that. I will now explain parts of that timeline to you. Alright, so I'll take the most important document here. Alright, it's this. This is just the generations, if you can see that. So I'll start off at the farthest back we go, which is for us, Generation 1. Alright, so generations 1 through 4 were in England. And then at some point they moved to Ireland around generation 5 and 6. After that, they moved back to England. Very indecisive of them. And then eventually, on the 8th generation, they were finally born in America, or US of A. And after a couple more generations, you get to Generation 11, James Abel Jackson, who I actually have a picture of right here. He was a direct relative of Andrew Jackson. Obviously the best president. Wink, wink. He wasn't. And so, that's just another interesting fact. I'm related to Andrew Jackson in some capacity. And so, I can start to explain that family tree now. So, after James Abel, Mr. Old Jackson, he had a child named Ruby Jackson, Ruby Mae Jackson. And she had a child with James Eiley Corbett, which is how Corbett gets in here. Fun fact. That worked its way down. So we're now at the 12th generation with Ruby Mae Jackson. Now, Ruby Mae Jackson Corbett. Alright, so after that comes along my great-grandfather, which would be 13th generation, which is William Hazel Corbett. Alright, oh wait, actually, I never said who Ruby Mae got married to. She got married to James Eiley Corbett. James Eiley Corbett, right here. And that is James Eiley's dad, who looks a lot like a little bit of a gangster. Looks like he would be in an old western shootout, but you know, well, we won't discuss that, I guess. So now back to William Hazel. He married Barbara Jean French, if you can see that. Look at them, they look all fancied up. It's these two right here. So yeah, we're on the 14th, I believe? 13th generation. Yeah, that's right, 13th. And so, then you get down to my Mima. That would be Donna Corbett, which is now at 14th generation. We've made it all the way to 14. Big number. So, another side tangent, interesting side tangent that I like to get into. Starting off, this is like all of my dad's side of the family. This isn't from my mom's. So that's what I know about that. And an interesting part of the Corbett name, it actually changed a little bit. So if you can see right here, he spelled Corbett with an I. But his son spelled Corbett with an E. My Mima has a theory for this. She thinks that because old Charles Leonard Corbett over here wasn't really at the home. Neither was Charles's dad, so I guess cycle continues. But yeah, Charles Corbett with an I was never really home. And so my Mima theorizes that that's why James Eiley got his name changed, because he didn't want to associate himself with his father or his grandfather. He wanted to change it up a little bit because he didn't really respect him that much, which honestly kind of cool, man. Just literally just being like, no, I don't want that one. That's kind of sick. All right. Now back to my Mima. So she is 14th. That would make my dad 15 and me 16th. So I'm the 16th generation we've got down so far, which I'm surprised we even have record of that many. An interesting part about this that's not fully related to World War II, but it is about a war, specifically the Cold War. One of my Mima's uncles, what was that? Uncles. Oh yeah, he went to Berlin during the Cold War. Just a fun little fact. He parachuted in Berlin. I think that's very cool. An interesting piece from my mom's side, actually from World War II, was that her grandfather actually went to great grandfather. Her great grandfather was actually in World War II, which is very interesting. I think that's very cool. But from what I've heard from a lot of my relatives, a lot of those people just didn't talk about the war or their time that much, or like the depression or the war all too much, because not very fun to think about for them. You know, like all the sadness and death they probably witnessed was probably not very nice to them. So that's what I've heard. I wish I had a little bit more information. Like, it would be really cool if they like wrote some journals or anything. If I had that, there might be some more, but I don't think so. I think this is all we have right now from them. So thank you for your time, and goodbye.